there's going to be a lot of discussions already, and we expect you to be part of the conversation. Join us on social media at Channels TV at B's Morning, or you can tweet at me at B Bosin. Of course, as far as the oil side of the conversation is, we already see some tweet out there for this conversation when you flag that off. Of course, and again, the family planning story, which will be in about 15 minutes from now, it's going to be very, very interesting. You need to stick around. Some folks believe we shouldn't do family planning, but we should plan the country a lot better. A very interesting conversation with Dr. Ibrahim Abanida, who is in our Abuja studios. But for now, let's let's have some taste of oil. Even as prices continue to flag, let's get one of the research analysts at Financial Derivatives Company, Bolanle Olutosin, into the conversation. Good morning.
Morning.
It's good to have you here. Are you analysts panicking right now with this news? One step forward, two steps backward, almost on a daily basis?
No, definitely not. We, for the past few weeks, we had actually mentioned that it's a possibility that they'll definitely include, Nigeria and Libya in the oil production cap. So we're not actually surprised. But going back, if you look at what's happened over the past few years in the energy market. So first of all, OPEC actually produces 32% of the world oil. And world growth has actually increased to about 2.7%. But oil consumption, oil demand has been below, world growth, which is about 1.4%. So that already shows you that the dynamics of the energy market has actually changed. We've seen a move to more other sources of energy, so nuclear, wind, solar, and all these other sources. Tesla has become very important, over the past few years, and we've seen production of more fuel efficient, products. So it's actually not a surprise. So the dynamics of the energy market has changed. But then moving over to the demand and supply angle, we've all known what the story is. The market is, there's a supply glut, and that hasn't really changed. And OPEC, every week, it seems like they continuously look for ways to, solve this issue. And this meeting that has just sprung up, it's no surprise. It's like, okay, they have a meeting in November, but at this point, it's crucial for them to decide, okay, what next can we actually do? It seems like they're not in favor of deepening cuts, but they're looking at, okay, these two countries that we have actually exempted. Let's look at, the state of these companies, or these countries rather, and see what we can, whether we include them or not.
Nigeria needs both the production, needs both the output and the price.
Yes.
On both sides.
Yeah.
We need it. I don't know much about Libya, but we need it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Libya also need it, because the country's been, well, to use a fine word, balkanized, with a lot of factions fighting over who owns in charge of the government in Libya. So they need the oil money as well. But we need it for a totally different reason, with the way the economy, infrastructure, population, what have you, have been. So 440,000 barrels a day, in addition, by Libya, Nigeria, May and June. The direct question I want to ask you is, what type of conversation, what type of meetings should Abuja be having right now, this time, at this hour?
At this time, I feel like they should have meetings leaning towards the fact that there's the risk, or there's a very high chance they might actually include, Nigeria into this production cut. And let me tell you why. OPEC, they have strong economists working with them, and to evaluate whether they add Nigeria or not, they would actually go through our, history, our GDPs and our figures. And if you've noticed, obviously we're still in a recession, but we're actually moving into, our trajectory is going in towards out of that recession. Our exchange rate has been stabilized. Our oil production has been ramped up. The reason why they actually removed us from, the production cap was because our oil production, we were facing a recession, and our oil production wasn't reaching our target level. So they will look at all this, and there's actually been improvement. So their argument would be this particular country has actually improved over the past few months, and so we definitely think that they can, include them in the production cuts. So definitely Abuja should be thinking of ways to, help our reserves, because the oil production issue would actually, favor towards what OPEC and other oil producers are leaning towards.
Yeah, because if output, if we are capped, well, we have to come under the cut umbrella between now. Well, if Bakindo is able to save us from July 24 meeting, I'm not too sure if he will be able to save us from November 30 meeting. Either way, between now and December, something would have to happen. We're heading for the barbershop, as it were. Now, let's go to the price side of the conversation. Do you think the news from Goldman Sachs overnight, as Bloomberg reported it, that U.S. oil, WTI, may have to go below 40 and about to balance the market on the side of output in terms of inventories, vessels sitting on oceans with no buyers, price discounts to attract and to fight off a little bit or push back the U.S. share? Look at the IEA report, 50% increase in U.S. oil investment in 2017 alone. It looks like the United States is the king.
There are also geostrategic reasons why oil prices are, the way they are now. For the U.S., they've made moves to curb their inflation, and it seems like they would keep producing to a point where oil prices don't actually go above $50 a barrel. And that's just because, once oil prices go above that level, they have inflationary tendencies. So to keep inflation the way they want it, they would make sure that this doesn't happen. So regarding the production and not getting buyers, I don't know. It seems maybe Goldman Sachs, they've done their research and they've agreed. They've realized that, for them, for WTI to go below 40 is what will keep things stable. But as far as the U.S. is concerned, for their own geostrategic reasons, they will definitely not, cut back production.
$44.50 was Nigeria's benchmark 2017 fiscal appropriations. Do you think the executive and the legislature should be having some closed-door meetings right now? Hold on, folks. Do we need to do something about this document, about the paper we have on this document for 2017? Maybe we should go back to 42